good. Morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Respect is not something we are born with. It's something we earn, moment by moment, word by word, choice by choice. It's the invisible crown we wear when our actions align with integrity, kindness, and humility. But just as easily as it's earned, it can be lost. Sometimes not with one big mistake, but with small, repeated habits we ignore. Today, that is the number R. I want to speak from the heart about something we don't talk about enough. The habits that slowly destroy the respect we receive from others and even the respect we have for ourselves. These are not always dramatic or obvious. Often they creep in quietly, day by day, and before we know it, we've distanced ourselves from the trust and admiration we once had. Here are 7 bad habits that, if left unchecked, can destroy your respect. First habit, day. Talking behind others' backs. Gossip is one of the most silently destructive habits when it comes to losing respect, both from others and from yourself. It may seem small or even harmless at first. You might think you're just sharing a story, venting, or laughing with friends. But behind every whispered word and every judgmental comment is a deeper truth that someone's character, someone's pain, someone's life is being casually passed around for entertainment. And no matter how subtle it may seem, people notice. They may not say anything, but they see who you are through the words you choose to speak when someone isn't around to defend themselves. When you gossip about others, that is the number R, what you're really doing is revealing more about yourself than the person you're talking about. You're showing your inability to keep confidence, your lack of empathy, and your willingness to tear someone down when they're not present. Even those who seem to enjoy the conversation with you will question your loyalty, wondering what you might say about them when they're not around. Gossip doesn't just stain the subject of the conversation, it stains the speaker. And with every rumor shared, a little bit of respect is quietly taken away. Moreover, gossip breeds distrust and a toxic environment, whether in families, workplaces, or friendships. It divides people, fuels misunderstandings, and damages reputations in ways that are often irreversible. It's like planting seeds of bitterness and watching them grow into walls between people who were once close. It might feel like a bonding moment at the time, but it often leaves behind a trail of broken trust and emotional distance. When you're known as someone who speaks ill of others, people may listen to you, but they won't admire you. Choosing not to gossip, on the other hand, is a powerful act of discipline and respect. It shows emotional maturity and strength. When you refuse to speak negatively about others, even when no one is watching, you build a foundation of integrity. People start to see you as someone they can trust, someone who is safe, and someone who chooses kindness over cruelty. It takes courage to stay silent when it's easier to join the noise, and it takes even more strength to speak positively when negativity surrounds you. At the end of the day, the most respected people are not the loudest in the room. They are the ones who protect others even in their absence. If you truly want to grow in grace, influence, and character, learn to guard your tongue. Speak life, not destruction. Because a woman or man who lifts others, even when they're not looking, radiates a kind of beauty and respect that can never be taken away. Second habit Z, disrespecting others' time. Time is one of the most valuable gifts anyone can give you. It's something they can never get back. When someone offers you their time, they are offering a part of their life. So, When we disrespect that time by being late, canceling at the last minute, or failing to follow through on commitments, we may not realize it, but we're slowly chipping away at the respect others have for us. We're sending a silent message: my time matters more than yours. And over time, that message begins to echo in ways we can't control. Respecting others' time is not just about punctuality. It's about honoring the trust they place in us. When people schedule a meeting, plan or a call, or simply wait for you, they are adjusting their lives around a promise you made. Failing to show up on time or at all can make others feel undervalued and dismissed. It tells them that their priorities and responsibilities are not worth your attention. Even if it's unintentional, the result is the same. They begin to distance themselves emotionally because no one wants to feel like they're constantly waiting to be seen or heard. Many relationships, professional and personal, have quietly ended not because of betrayal or conflict, but because of this simple but consistent habit of not valuing others' time. When you repeatedly cancel plans, show up late, or fail to prepare, people lose faith in your reliability. They may not always express it in words, but trust quietly fades. Opportunities slip away, invitations stop coming, and when people no longer feel they can count on you, they begin to lose the respect they once had. On the other hand, when you respect someone's time by showing up early, being prepared, and communicating honestly, you demonstrate maturity, responsibility, and care. You make people feel important. You show them that you value not only their presence, but also their schedule, their energy, and their life. And that kind of consideration doesn't go unnoticed. It builds a powerful reputation of being dependable, thoughtful, and professional, qualities that are admired and remembered. At its core, the number R, respecting others' time, is about valuing people. It's a reflection of how you treat the world around you. It's in the 5 minutes you save someone by being punctual. It's in the follow-up message that says, "Thank you for waiting." It's in the planning that shows, "I care enough to be ready." Because when you consistently honor someone's time, you're not just respecting a clock. You're respecting their life. And there is no greater foundation for lasting respect than that. Third habit, Z, constant complaining or negativity. There is nothing more draining than being in the presence of someone who constantly complains. When a person always finds something wrong, whether it's the weather, their job, people around them, or even themselves, it creates an atmosphere of heaviness. Over time, people begin to pull away, not because they don't care, but because it becomes emotionally exhausting to be around someone who only sees problems and never solutions. This habit of constant negativity doesn't just dim your own light. It casts a shadow on everyone around you. Complaining at its root often comes from unhealed pain or unmet expectations. But when it becomes a default way of speaking or thinking, it begins to shape your entire worldview. It teaches your mind to look for the bad, to expect the worst, and to ignore the good that might be quietly present. People start to associate you not with strength or grace, but with bitterness and blame. And slowly, the respect they once had for you turns into quiet pity, or worse, avoidance. It's important to acknowledge that everyone has difficult days, and voicing your struggles is healthy. But when negativity becomes your language, your identity begins to follow. It starts to affect your body, your energy, your relationships, and even your opportunities. People respect those who can face life's challenges with honesty, but also with courage. Those who, instead of complaining endlessly, seek growth, healing, and solutions are the ones who inspire others, not drain them. Choosing a mindset of gratitude and perspective doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to see that not everything is broken. It means learning to find the lesson in the hardship, the light in the darkness, and the strength in the pain. When you choose to shift your focus from problems to possibilities, from complaints to courage, people begin to see a new kind of beauty in you, a quiet strength, a hopeful spirit. And that is something deeply respected. If you want to be someone people admire, someone who uplifts and energizes the room when they walk in, then learn to master your mindset. Speak life, not defeat. Focus on what's working, not only what's not. Choose to be the kind of person whose words build bridges, not walls. Because respect doesn't grow in negativity. It grows in hope, in humility, and in resilience. And when you choose those things over complaining, you become someone the world not only listens to, but looks up to. Fourth habit: lying and breaking promises. Trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship, personal or professional. And once that trust is broken, it's incredibly hard to rebuild. Lying, even when it seems small or harmless, begins to chip away at that foundation. When you lie to someone, you don't just alter the truth, you damage your own integrity. And the more you do it, the more people begin to see you as someone whose words can't be trusted. Respect cannot survive in the absence of truth. A promise is not just a statement, it's a bond. Whether it's as simple as "I'll call you back," or as significant as "you can count on me," every promise carries emotional weight. And when you break it, especially repeatedly, people start to detach. They stop expecting. They stop believing. And worst of all, they stop depending on you. Broken promises make people feel unimportant, like their trust was misplaced. That kind of disappointment lingers long after the words are forgotten. Lying also puts you in a constant state of fear and self-defense. You have to remember the story, protect the cover up, and live with the guilt. Over time, this erodes your self-respect. And when you no longer respect yourself, it becomes harder for others to do so. People begin to notice the inconsistencies in your words and actions. And even if they don't confront you directly, the silent judgment sets in. Relationships grow distant. Opportunities vanish. You become a person others hesitate to rely on. Some lies are told to avoid conflict, protect someone's feelings, or shield ourselves from consequences. But even white lies can leave stains. They suggest that you're not strong enough to face the truth, or not respectful enough to let others decide how to handle it. Honesty, even when it's difficult, communicates courage. It says, "I value our relationship enough to be real with you." And that kind of honesty, when offered with kindness and humility, builds deep and lasting respect. Keeping your word, on the other hand, is a powerful act of character. People admire those who follow through, who mean what they say and say what they mean. When your words are reliable, people feel safe around you. They know you are steady. They know you are solid. You don't need to speak loudly or often. Your consistency speaks for you. That kind of reputation doesn't just earn respect, it commands it. In a world full of broken promises and shallow words, be someone who honors truth. Be the person whose yes means yes and whose no means no. When you choose honesty, even when it's uncomfortable, you build a legacy of trust. And trust, once established, is the most powerful currency of respect. So speak with care, promise with intention, and live with integrity, because your words are not just sounds, they are seeds. And what you plant today will grow into the way the world sees you tomorrow. Fifth habit, Zay. Being arrogant or dismissing others. Arrogance is a subtle but dangerous habit that quietly erodes respect. It often masquerades as confidence, but its true nature reveals a closed heart and a closed mind. When a person dismisses others' opinions, interrupts conversations, or behaves as if their knowledge is superior, it creates a barrier between themselves and those around them. Instead of inviting connection and collaboration, arrogance pushes people away, leaving loneliness and isolation in its wake. True respect, however, is not demanded through force or superiority. It is earned through humility and openness. The most respected individuals are often those who listen more than they speak. They show genuine interest in others' thoughts and feelings, no matter how different or unfamiliar those ideas may be. Dismissing someone's perspective without consideration sends a message that their voice doesn't matter. Over time, this behavior not only damages relationships, but also blinds a person to the rich diversity of experiences and wisdom that others can offer. Respect grows when we create space for others to be heard, especially when it challenges our own views. Arrogance can also be a shield, a way to mask insecurities or fears of inadequacy. Yet, the irony is that it only deepens the very loneliness it tries to hide. People may admire skill or success from afar, but they don't respect someone who belittles or looks down on others. They respect those who lead with empathy, who acknowledge their limitations, and who celebrate the strengths of those around them. Humility is a strength that invites trust and admiration, creating a foundation for authentic relationships. When you approach life with humility, you open the door to learning and growth. You acknowledge that no one has all the answers and that every person you meet has something valuable to teach you. This attitude fosters curiosity and respect, turning every interaction into an opportunity to expand your understanding and deepen your connections. That is, the number RD doesn't mean putting yourself down. It means recognizing your worth while also valuing the worth of others equally. Being arrogant not only affects how others see you, but also how you see yourself. It traps you in a narrow perspective, limiting your ability to grow emotionally and spiritually. When you dismiss others, you miss out on the richness of human experience and the beauty of shared vulnerability. True confidence is quiet and assured. It does not need to prove itself by diminishing others. Choosing humility enriches your character and allows you to stand tall with grace and dignity. Ultimately, respect is a two-way street. If you want to be respected, you must first respect others. Listening deeply, valuing different perspectives, and leading with kindness. Arrogance may win short-term attention, but humility builds lasting respect. So let go of the need to be right all the time, embrace the power of empathy, and watch how the respect you give freely comes back to you multiplied. Sixth habit, say, inconsistency in words and actions. Inconsistency is one of the quietest but most powerful ways to lose respect. When what you say doesn't match what you do, it creates confusion and doubt. People begin to wonder, can I trust this person? Will they follow through? Over time, this uncertainty chips away at the foundation of trust and respect you have worked so hard to build. Consistency is the bridge that connects your words to your character. And without it, that bridge crumbles, leaving relationships fractured and reputations tarnished. Every promise made but not kept, every "I'll do this" left undone, sends a message of unreliability. It shows a lack of respect not only for others, but for yourself. Inconsistency breeds disappointment, which is an emotional wound that often goes unspoken but is deeply felt. People don't necessarily expect perfection, but they do expect integrity, the alignment of your actions with your values and your words. When you live with inconsistency, you tell others that your commitments are optional, and respect fades because respect demands dependability. Inconsistency also causes you to lose credibility. Imagine a leader who preaches teamwork but never participates, or a friend who says they care but never shows up. The disconnect between words and deeds creates confusion and skepticism. People begin to question your sincerity and intentions. This skepticism makes it difficult to form deep, trusting bonds because respect thrives on authenticity. Without it, relationships remain shallow and fragile, vulnerable to the smallest crack. On a deeper level, inconsistency can confuse even yourself. When your actions don't align with your stated values or goals, you create internal conflict and self-doubt. You may feel fragmented, unsure of who you really are or what you stand for. This inner turmoil weakens your confidence and diminishes your self-respect. And as you lose respect for yourself, it becomes increasingly difficult to command respect from others. Consistency isn't just about how others see you. It's about how you honor your own truth. Building consistency requires intentionality and courage. It means choosing to show up even when it's hard. It means following through on your promises, no matter how small. It means reflecting regularly on whether your actions align with your words and making adjustments when they don't. This practice strengthens your character and builds a solid reputation. People begin to see you as reliable, trustworthy, and authentic, qualities that command deep respect and admiration. Ultimately, living with consistency is a profound act of respect towards yourself and others. It tells the world that you are a person of integrity, someone whose word can be counted on even in difficult times. It invites others to trust you, rely on you, and value your presence. In a world filled with uncertainty and broken promises, consistency is a rare and beautiful gift, a gift that once given makes you unforgettable and deeply respected. Seventh habit, not taking responsibility for mistakes. One of the most damaging habits to respect is the refusal to take responsibility for one's mistakes. Life is imperfect and we all stumble, sometimes in small ways, sometimes in big ways. What truly defines us, however, is not the error itself, but how we respond to it. When we avoid accountability, blame others, or make excuses, we not only deny others the truth, they also begin to question our integrity. This avoidance erodes respect because it reveals a lack of courage and humility, qualities that are essential for trust and admiration. Taking responsibility for mistakes requires a deep sense of self-awareness and honesty. It means acknowledging your faults without defensiveness or shame. This can be incredibly difficult because it exposes our vulnerabilities and imperfections, things many of us have been taught to hide or deny. But ironically, this very vulnerability is what draws people closer. When you admit you're wrong and show willingness to make amends, you demonstrate strength rather than weakness. People respect those who face their shortcomings head on, knowing that everyone is human and flawed. Avoiding responsibility often creates a toxic cycle of mistrust. When you shift blame, others become guarded and less willing to collaborate or open up. It can also cause resentment as people feel unfairly treated or unheard. This habit damages relationships in subtle but lasting ways, making genuine connection difficult. On the other hand, owning your mistakes builds bridges. It paves the way for forgiveness, understanding, and growth, not just for you, but for everyone involved. Taking responsibility also means learning from mistakes and committing to change. It's not enough to simply admit fault. Respect is earned when your actions show a real desire to grow. This requires humility and the courage to confront uncomfortable truths within yourself. People admire those who don't just apologize, but actively work to become better. This ongoing process transforms setbacks into stepping stones and builds a reputation of resilience and integrity. Furthermore, accepting responsibility is empowering. It frees you from the weight of denial and blame, allowing you to regain control of your narrative. Instead of being a victim of circumstances or others' actions, you become the author of your own growth and transformation. This mindset shift enhances self-respect, which in turn radiates outward, encouraging others to respect you more deeply. Accountability is a form of self-love as much as it is respect toward others. In a world where blame is often the easiest escape, those who own their mistakes stand out with dignity and grace. They inspire trust and loyalty because they prove they are trustworthy and genuine. If you want to nurture lasting respect from others and within yourself, embrace your imperfections openly, learn from them, and commit to becoming the best version of yourself. Responsibility is not a burden. It is the foundation of true respect and lasting character.